Hi, I'm Phil Rude, and this is my 100 Days of Making Comics, days 55 through 60. I am chugging right along up over the 10 past the halfway point. I feel like I'm starting to roll down the downward slope on the other side of the hill. You know what? I was going to throw a bunch of metaphors in here. I just don't have the mental capacity. As I'm sure you can tell, I am coming to you live from the driver's seat of my car. Also, not live by the time you're hearing this. So I'm only half truthful today. I am on the go again today. So just kind of asking you to bear with me and pretend you're in my car and we're driving home from work today. And I'm going to talk to you about writing, or my version of writing. I do not really fancy myself a writer. I think there was one time in my life when I was making more of an effort to be more of a writer. Now I just sort of consider myself, in writing terms, just sort of a general storyteller. I map things out with comics. Very seldom do I actually write something, like a script. I might write an outline real loosely. I will write and play with some dialogue along the way. And typically when my pages are drawn, I will spend a couple days working the word balloons, working the dialogue, before I actually do it on the page. I will have screenshots with them. I'll make a note on my phone with all the pages in there and just sort of have notes to the dialogue and work it until it's tight enough. That's my typical process. This week, or in the past week, I suppose, I have also, in addition to my 30 minutes minimum on my comics work, part of which you're seeing on the screen right now, which is what I did this morning as I'm recording this. I've also worked on a short story for possible submission for an anthology coming up. I've got about a month and a half before submissions are due, and I've got a first draft done. It's a very short story. It's a very simple story. But it is the first writing of prose that I have done and been willing to work on to the point of wanting to share it in quite a while, I think. I don't feel like I've done that in a little bit, so it feels kind of good to work the writing muscles in a kind of traditional way, even though it's something I'm not entirely practiced at. I think the biggest run of writing that I have done in quite a while was my Ink and Sunshine series of short stories that I did maybe 2 years ago now. Just some short fiction. A lot of it was excuses to illustrate things for short stories that I was writing. And that kind of died off maybe a year ago. I still occasionally will post a comic or something short there. But it does feel pretty good to have a a draft of a story and be able to kind of dive in and work on it, and see if I can fine tune it into something better. In terms of comics writing, I am also fine tuning the story I'm actually currently drawing, as a sort of rewrite came to me today. I have a few pages that are drawn, and I have not inked yet. They're penciled but not inked. And I actually thought this morning about, is it possible for me to make this better by doing this? And I kind of worked out the broad strokes of it and kind of decided, yeah, I may have to redraw these pages in order to rewrite the story slightly. And that is a big pain in the ass. And it is going to be more time consuming. But I also feel like it might totally be worth it, because I feel like this is better in some way. It's stronger writing, and it's also kind of letting me know that maybe I do need to... I can't really picture going to script form. Totally. But perhaps maybe spending a little more time on the writing end of it, the story crafting end of it, to make sure I'm hitting all the beats that, or the best beats for the story that I'm trying to tell. And maybe I need to spend a little bit more time on that and look for possible revisions before I start laying lines down on the paper. I'm pretty sure I've said before that in terms of comics writing, I don't feel like that is necessarily my strong suit. I feel like it's where I could benefit in collaboration a little bit more. But the fact that I'm recognizing a better route to take, I think shows some progress, or at least some potential progress on that front. The idea that, yeah, maybe I'm not there right now, but I do have a strong possibility of getting there if I put the work in and do another couple steps of revisions. I've heard that writing is really about editing, and it's something I probably need to keep in mind as I go forward. That's all I have to say on the subject of writing today, because I'm not super well versed in it. But I am interested in how you guys write. Or do you write a full script out ahead of time? Do you have a flow chart of possible outcomes? Do you write in picture form the way I do with thumbnails a lot? Where are you carrying any of the action? Is it in the dialogue? Is it in the actions of your characters? Is it in the visuals? Let me know. Drop your answers and your writing process in the comments, or a link to a video you have. I love creative process, and I would love to hear about yours. Also, let me know how your 100 Days Challenge is going. Where are you at in it? And are you finding it easy to make the time? On the rest of this video, I'm going to make a shameless plug and ask you to read The Adventures of Professor Whiskers on Line Webtoon. That is where it can be found. And I would very much appreciate having your eyes on it and getting some feedback. What do you think of it? Where can I improve? And that's about it for today. Thanks, guys, for checking out this video and listening to me ramble about writing. And I will talk to you next time.